the biggest voices in boxing, ESPN's Joe Tessitore and Brian Kelly of Fox Sports. All right, let's return. Brian Kenny, I'm sorry. Brian Kelly, Notre Dame coach.
It's Vegas.
I have had a few drinks.
You're not as angry as that, Brian.
Have a little more. There we go. The Wilder Fury fight. Joe, you were saying something interesting. There's already thousands of people lined up just to see the weigh-in.
Jason, it's incredible. BK and I were down there in a production meeting, and we had to snake our way through thousands of people who are waiting to get into the arena right now. They're not getting on the scale until 3:45 local time. They've been out there since 10 a.m., BK.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like it. I was trying to think maybe Canelo, Mayweather, but no, this is the biggest line I've seen that early of people getting in for the weigh-in.
Heavyweights bring out something different.
Yes, they do.
Can you guys, like, articulate that? Because we've seen big fights.
I mean, listen, our adult lives have been spent in the sport, former gym rats in upstate New York who then ended up on TV talking about boxing. But there's boxing, and then there's heavyweight boxing. There's heavyweight boxing, and then there's undefeated world champions facing off against each other. It's a sport unto itself when you get to the heavyweight division. It becomes not just mainstream sports galvanizing attention grabbing in the heavyweight division. It becomes mainstream America attention grabbing when you get this kind of a fight.
That was always the conversation, was even going back to Hagler, Leonard, Hearns, Duran, the golden era, that those guys had to fight each other and have so many great fights just to grab some of the market share, right? And even recently, I mean, Floyd and Pacquiao had to work hard to generate the type of revenue that they eventually did. Floyd started off, he was lightweight champion, 8 title defenses, and he looked around and said, nobody's paying attention to me.
Yes.
And so then he got into the business of it and became the guy that he became. But he had to generate that. If we get, and we will this weekend, I think, Joe, we're not going to get another draw. I think we're going to get a heavyweight champion of the world. This is just the beginning. You know, because then you can focus on one guy, and everybody's got to go through that guy.
Keyword the.
Joe,
heavyweight
yes,
champion.
one.
You were at the press conference yesterday, and we're in the middle of that scrap. Some people think Wednesday, some people think that was manufactured. You were there.
No, I was almost a human lawn dart. I thought that they were going to pick me up and launch me across the arena. Listen, I'll tell you right now, I've been with, all of us have got to know the guys really well through the years, and I was with them for the lead up to this promotion all the way back in early January, and they were very deferential to each other. They were focused in. But then you get into the red-hot crucible of fight week, and you're only 72 hours out and 48 hours out. And then you walk out there and you're standing opposite the man who's trying to ruin your life plans, who's trying to alter the course of everything you are, and it spilled over, and it was real, and I made some regrettable decisions of trying to step in between those two guys. But here's what you need to know that you didn't hear on television the other day during the press conference, is during the commercial break, when the mics are down, and it's still going, and it's heated, and it's real. And that is just the reality of the position that they're in right now.
They're both very vocal guys. I mean, they're charismatic guys. They're used to being vocal. I think they've been very respectful of each other through the build-up, and even in the fighter meetings that we had yesterday, they're very respectful. Yet, when you get nose to nose, that energy is there. So I think that's real. And I'm down on the manufactured stuff of the pushing. Oh, remember B-Hop slapped, was it Winky Wright? And it was like, why are you doing this? You don't need this. I'd rather Manny Pacquiao style. You stand there and smile, and then it's war on Saturday night. Here, though, I think it's just an element of their personalities. They are who they are, and they're used to mouthing off. When they get, face to face, there's going to be that energy that they're going to want to push each other back.
Now, this intensity, we're talking about it. It's hard to compare what we're seeing at the weigh-in fight line. We're seeing these two undefeated heavyweights in their primes going to have this contest. And one is going to be the heavyweight champion of the world. Is that guy going to be a bigger star for this sport than even Floyd Mayweather was?
Well, I think it depends on how you measure what is a bigger star. I will tell you this, that person, the winner on Saturday night, will have the most leverage in the sport. He's going to control and hold the keys to the sport and be wildly marketable. But what you see instantly is, because we're talking big men who are undefeated, big men who can punch, is how quickly they can shift the paradigm. They can change businesses. They can get things accomplished. To BK's point, it took years of growth of Mayweather and Pacquiao to land at what they landed at. These guys come right in, and 2 networks are coming together. The whole world's coming together to make this happen. They can move mountains.
There's no question. There's the opportunity that the winner of this fight will be bigger than anything that we've seen.
Yes.
Going back to probably as big as Lennox, maybe as big as we're talking Holyfield, Bo, and Mike Tyson. And then the beautiful thing about this, if it could happen, is when you have one champ, then when you beat the champ, you're the new champ.
That's
and you
right.
just get that, just like when we had, Tyson loses, right, to Buster Douglas, Douglas loses to Holyfield, and instantly the guy's a superstar. Instantly, by virtue of being the heavyweight champion of the world and going back, Ingemar Johansson, Floyd Patterson, Rocky Marciano, anybody, when you are the champ, you're remembered forever. Max Baer, guys who otherwise you would not even remember, heavyweight champion of the world, an instant global superstar.
Brian, people have been upset with me over social media, not the real.
No
bro,
way.
Because I
He doesn't have to finish that. No way.
Because I keep asking this question because I find it fascinating. Boxing's history, when a white guy and a black guy get in the ring, generally speaking, boxing plays that card and pits the whole racial dynamic. This fight hasn't gone there.
No.
Does that speak to just how the personality of these 2 fighters? Or is it because Don King's not involved? Why haven't they gone that stereotypical route?
Hopefully we've evolved a little bit, right? I mean, it's unfortunate to this day. I know Larry Holmes. He's a great guy. I know Jerry Cooney. They both hate that aspect of it, that fight became that they became symbols of things they didn't want to be. This is vastly different. Maybe because it's global. Maybe because Tyson Fury is part of an oppressed people as well, as an Irish traveler. He's not coming up as part of the white hierarchy. He's coming in from the very, very bottom. And Deontay is a small-town country boy. So this is, I think this is, an element of where we are. I hope, despite what we see in many aspects of our country, that this is now, hey, we have 2 fighters. And as we've seen maybe through the years with Eastern European fighters getting back involved and really dominating the sport, whether you're white, black, Asian, whatever, how do you fight? How do you conduct yourself? That's what's important.
There's not even a hint of it. It is an unnecessary tool in selling this fight to both of these guys. Both of these guys celebrate their backgrounds, celebrate who they are. You're going to see that with Deontay tomorrow, I believe, in the ring walk, as we had a conversation with him yesterday. And to Brian's point, if you really read in and understand the backstory of the ethnic pride of being an Irish traveler, gypsy, you really understand the layers as to why Tyson even takes some offense to any hint of that at all. But no, nothing to do with this. This is more of a celebration of who they are, where they come from. And we haven't seen it at all.
Yeah, I mean, we come through. I know what you're saying. I'm glad you bring it up because you should bring it up. You should pull the air out of it. That for years it was, when are we going to have a white heavyweight champion? And I'm not talking about the early 1900s. I'm talking about 30 years ago. Yeah. And that conversation was still there. And now it's not there. Good. Vladimir Klitschko, white heavyweight champion. Do we even notice that he was white? No, he's Ukrainian. Does it matter, what skin color you are? No, should not matter at all.
I do think here in America, though, having an American heavyweight champion and one that, is recognized, he doesn't have 1 belt or 2, that he's clearly recognized as the American. I think that's better for us here. I really want
with you, Jason.
Deontay Wilder to win.
I think geography has had a lot to do with why all of a sudden there's this groundswell to have this, and everybody is looking forward to this. Because as great as the Klitschkos were, and they were dominant champions, and they were so talented, by their style, that Eastern European upright robotic style, and fighting mostly in Germany, they threw a wet blanket over the hot fire of the heavyweight division in America.
Plus, the 2 brothers were champs, and
That's
they weren't going to fight. So, who's the real champ?
Absolutely.
And as good as they were, it was a mess.
And then in Tyson Fury, so listen, I agree. America loves a badass knockout artist as a heavyweight champion. You got that with Deontay Wilder. America always loves a showman, too. A Vegas-style celebrity showman who's outlandish and outspoken.
That's Fury.
And you got that with Tyson Fury.
Exactly.
He plays very American as well. He's like almost an international Vegas character, if anything, not a Brit.
All right, look, styles make fights. Are you guys confident we're going to have a great fight on Saturday?
We already saw that we did.
Yeah, I can't see it missing.
Yeah.
I mean, one guy is the boxer, and he's clear-headed. He's had 6 straight training camps. He's in tremendous condition. And Wilder, we see, is still the hardest puncher. I called that fight on Fox. I thought he was losing to Luis Ortiz almost every single round, and then it's over. So no matter what, even if Fury has 10 straight rounds in the books, it doesn't matter. Deontay can end that fight with 1 shot.
Completely agree with BK. I think it's always fascinating when you watch Deontay Wilder because Every single second you have to pay attention. And then with Tyson Fury, you have sublime skill. You also have size. And we're going to find out in a few hours how much size and what kind of a factor that is going to play in this fight. If he comes in close to 270 pounds, I do think he's going to step to him. I do think he's going to lean on him. I do think he's going to make it a dirty, rugged fight.
He wants
mauling
Says he wants
very early. And most rematches are an exaggerated version of the first fight. First fight was great.
The voices of boxing for Fox Sports and ESPN. Brian Kenny, Joe Tessitore, thank you so much. Coming up, Russell Westbrook says his reputation has hurt him. We'll tell you what we think. Speak for Yourself is presented by Hyundai. We're coming to you.